Walter faces a tough choice as Jesse struggles. Get ready for an exciting ride into Season 2, Episode 12 of Breaking Bad. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome recaps. Walter delivers the product to Gus just in time, but he misses the birth of his baby daughter. When he finally gets to the hospital, he sees that Ted had already driven Skylar there. Afterward, Walter goes back home to hide his money, stuffing it inside the walls of his house. Earlier, Walter had slapped Jesse awake from a drug-filled daze to find out where he had hidden the drugs. When Jesse woke up, he thought he had been robbed, not knowing that Walter had already taken the meth to Gus. Jane gets a call from her dad, Donald, waking her up because she's late for a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. At lunch, she doesn't tell him that she's using heroin again and pretends not to know Jesse when her dad asks about him. Meanwhile, Jesse freaks out, thinking the meth was stolen, and calls Walter to say he's been robbed. Walter keeps quiet, but then Jesse notices 4 messages on the answering machine. That's when he figures out that Walter sold the meth to Gus. At the same time, Skylar decides to go back to work to help pay for Walter's surgery. Jesse talks to Walter about getting his share of the money, but Walter says he won't pay him until Jesse can show that he's clean and sober. Walter promises to give Jesse the money when he knows that both Jesse and Jane are doing well. Later, Jesse and Jane take another hit of heroin in his apartment. As Jesse starts to pass out, he complains to Jane about Walter not giving him his money. He tells her that he should have $480,000, which is half of $1.2 million after paying Saul's 20% fee. Donald calls Jane again when she is late to another rehab meeting, not knowing that he is waiting right outside. When he sees her come out of Jesse's apartment, he rushes in and finds signs that they have both been using heroin. He is really angry that she has gone back to using drugs and threatens to call the police. However, Jane promises that she will go to rehab the next day. Donald calms down and gives her another chance, saying she has one day to take care of her work and personal stuff before going to rehab. After he leaves, Jane tells Jesse that if they have enough money, nobody can make them do anything. To help pay for his dad's surgery, Walt Jr. creates a website to collect donations for Walter's medical bills. Saul quickly sees this as a way to move Walter's money without anyone getting suspicious. He tells Walt Jr. that he will hire a hacker to make it look like the money is coming from computers all around the world. The hacker will send in small amounts so nobody will notice anything strange. After finding out about Jesse's payday, Jane blackmails Walter into giving Jesse his share of the money. She threatens to tell everyone that Walter is a high school teacher who sells drugs and that his brother-in-law is a DEA agent. If this got out, it would ruin Walter's whole family. Walter hands over the money to Jesse and Jane, who are thrilled and start talking about getting clean, but they still feel a strong urge to use their leftover heroin. Later, Walter goes to a bar and runs into Jane's dad, Donald. Donald says you should never give up on your family because they're the only ones you really have. Inspired by Donald's words, Walter decides to go back to Jesse's house. Later, Walter goes back to Jesse's place to try to make things right and help him overcome his addiction. When he gets there, he finds Jesse and Jane passed out in bed after using drugs. They are lying on their sides, and Walter shakes Jesse to wake him up. As he does this, Jane rolls onto her back and starts to vomit, which makes it hard for her to breathe. Even though Walter knows how to help in emergencies, he just stands there and watches as Jane struggles. Before leaving the building, Walter starts to cry. To be continued. Make sure you don't miss what happens next. Hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay tuned.